Second step is to practice touching the positive. You don't touch the negative, instead you try to touch the positive. Look at the blue sky. Breathing in, I'm aware of the blue sky. Breathing out, I smile at the blue sky. And you touch the blue sky touches you. Breathing in, I'm aware of the mountains. Breathing out, I see that the mountains are wonderful. You touch the beautiful mountains, the blue mountains touch you. There are so many things that are beautiful, refreshing and healing. Get in touch. The kingdom is available. Get in touch with the kingdom. Listen to a Dharma talk. A Dharma talk can water many good seeds in us. When you attend a 7-day retreat, every day you hear a Dharma talk. The Dharma talk is a kind of rain that fall into the soil of your store consciousness and come and water the beautiful seeds that you have in it. And sometime during a Dharma talk, you feel that, well, a good seed in you sprout and become a flower of freshness, of joy. So in a retreat, well, the rain of the Dharma always help touch the wonderful seed in you. And then practice mindfulness of breathing, of walking, so that the seed of mindfulness grow, the seed of joy grow. And allow these to have a chance to sleep. Don't give them a chance. Don't consume like we did in the past. And if someone come and is about to touch them, said, please no, don't touch this seed in me. And then when the seed of mindfulness and joy in you are strong enough, when these seed of mindfulness and joy are solid enough, you take the third step. You remove the embargo and allow them to come up one by one. Because if you allow them, if you repress them too long by the way of unmindful consumption, you create a situation of bad circulation of your mind, of your psyche. They want to come up and yet you repress them. And that is why you create a blockage, a situation of bad circulation. And that is the strategy of the majority. We are afraid of them coming up. That is why we occupy the mind with items of consumption, television, novels, music, food, and drugs. Because we know that we are not able to handle them, we use these kind of things. we try everything in order to repress. And when it is like the blood in our body, if the blood in our body does not circulate, well, many symptoms of illness will manifest. There are many painful spots in our body. We get a headache, we get the pain on the shoulder, we get all kinds of sickness because the blood does not circulate. The same is true with the blood of the mind. When you block your mind and not allow these mental formations to come up, you create a situation of bad circulation, and then slowly symptoms of mental illness will appear. And when you go to the doctor, they don't find any cause in your body, and yet you suffer in your body. And that is why it's dangerous to practice this kind of suppression by the practice of consuming. That is why the third step should be taken. We allow our anger, our fear to come up. Usually we are afraid of doing so. Our strategy is to run away from our suffering. We have no courage to go home to ourselves and confront the suffering. And the Buddha advised us to go home and take care of our suffering. If you know how to practice the second step, you have enough of this energy of mindfulness in order to do the work of recognition and embracing. In sitting meditation, you might allow your anger to come up, and you have mindfulness enough in order to recognize, embrace, and look deeply. Breathing in, I know anger has manifested in me. Breathing out, I embrace my anger with all tenderness. Breathing in, I know that anger is still in me. Breathing out, I am taking good care of my anger. Like a big sister holding the young sister. Like a mother holding a baby. And even if you have not seen, you have not practiced deeply enough in order to see the nature of your anger and transform it, your anger will lose some of its strength after having taken a bath of consciousness, of mindfulness. That's exactly what you do. You allow your anger or your fear or your despair to take a bath of mindfulness. And after that, after 5, 10, 15 minutes, they will come back to store consciousness. A little bit weaker, just a little bit weaker because of the bath of mindfulness. But you have to offer the bath of mindfulness. You have to know how to practice mindful breathing, mindful smiling, mindful walking, to continue generating the energy of mindfulness in order to embrace whatever comes up. Your fear, your anger, your despair. And after some time, having been embraced, they go down here to their home. And if you can do it once, you are no longer afraid of their coming up. And you say, next time when it comes, I will do exactly like that. I practice mindful breathing, mindful walking, to have enough of this energy of mindfulness, and I embrace it like I have done before. And they will go down and and a little bit weaker. My dear friends, if you don't believe that you are strong enough, your mindfulness is strong enough to recognize and embrace your pain, and ask a brother or a sister in the practice to come and sit close to you, holding her hand, asking her to help you with her energy of mindfulness, and together both of you will recognize the pain in you and embrace the pain in you for 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes if needed. You need a co-practitioner when you are weak. She will lend you her mind, energy of mindfulness. And if you have several brothers and sisters in the community, you are no longer afraid, because the boat of the Sangha will keep you from sinking into the river of suffering. If the collective mindfulness is strong enough to hold your pain and your sorrow. That is why taking refuge in the Sangha is very important, especially when you are a beginner and your mindfulness is not strong enough to recognize and embrace your suffering and give your anger, your despair a chance to take a bath in that energy of mindfulness. That is the energy of the Buddha. And then after you have been able to do it once, you have the confidence, you are not longer afraid, so you open the door, and then blocks of suffering will come up and you take care of and go down like this, and you restore good circulation, and symptoms of mental illness will go away. And this can be practiced as a group, as a community. And that is why it's very important that you set up a group of practitioners in your area. And you master the techniques of mindful breathing, mindful walking, sitting, and you learn how to touch the Pure Land, the Kingdom of God, every day. The practice should be joyful. The practice should deal not only with the suffering, but with the happiness. And you know that happiness, the kingdom, the Pure Land, is available in the here and the now. The practice should be balanced. Suffering is not enough. The fifth mindfulness training shows us the practice of mindful consumption of edible food and the practice of mindfulness consumption of sensory impressions. Last week we had a retreat for Hollywood entertainers. And we told them that we need them to help us with the practice. They should try to provide us with films that water the good seed in us. And it would be very helpful if they refrain from making the films that water the seed of anger and violence and fear in us. They listen very, very deeply, because they have that good, the seed of wisdom in them. And next week I'm going to meet with a group of producers of film in Hollywood. Please pray for me. I said that I told them that there is already a statue of liberty in the East Coast. But in the name of liberty, we have produced so many items of consumption that very destructive. And that is why I propose that a statue of responsibility be built in the West Coast. And one person in the retreat stood up and said, well, Thầy, I will do it. He's a sculptor. So during that retreat, I did my best to water the seed of compassion, understanding, and responsibility in these people. And let us continue to help them. The third source of nutriment the Buddha talked about is called volition. The deepest kind of desire that we have in ourselves. Because the life of a person is motivated by that desire. If you don't have any desire, you cannot continue to live. The desire may be very, very wholesome or very unwholesome. Siddhartha Gautama, who became a Buddha, he was motivated by a very strong desire to transform himself and to help the world. He's supposed to become a king, a politician. But as he observed, he saw that his father was very helpless, having the power of a king in his hand, but he was helpless. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of difficulties, misery in the country. And with that political power, he could not do much. Because there are afflictions, fear, hate, violence, anger in them. So politicians are very limited in their power to act. So Siddhartha did not care about becoming a king and having a lot of power. That is why he left the palace, seeking for a path of transformation and healing. And that desire was so strong in him that he was able to undergo many hardships. Finally, he succeeded in becoming an enlightened person with a lot of understanding and compassion. And he did not feel tired at all during the 45 years of teaching, practicing and helping people. And he helped everyone, kings, ministers, rich businessmen, and scavengers, slaves. He helped everyone. And he accepted all kinds of people in his noble Sangha. In his Sangha there is no caste, there is no race. There is only a race of enlightenment. The noble Sangha. You are the noble Sangha of the Buddha. You are the beloved Sangha of the Buddha. No discrimination. And if you practice mindfulness, concentration and insight, you bring the element of nobility into your daily life. And that is why the Sangha is called a noble Sangha. If your deepest desire is to have a lot of fame, a lot of sex, a lot of consumption, and then that desire can bring you a lot of suffering. That is why we have to look deeply into our deepest desire to find out whether that is wholesome or unwholesome. If you are motivated by desire to transform yourself and to help your people, your community to transform, to bring joy and hope, into their life, to live with the spirit, with the wisdom of non-discrimination. Capable of protecting themselves from complexes and suffering, so that your community will be a powerful instrument for social change. And then you have the best kind of volition. And that gives you an infinite source of energy. You become very alive, very dynamic in your daily life. And you make your community into a dynamic community. Because your community also has a deepest desire for social change. Social change, social justice, equality. Can be obtained with the transformation of our consciousness, of our collective consciousness. Because consciousness is at the base. If we are not capable of changing ourselves, our way of thinking, our way of perceiving, if you are not free from wrong perceptions, and then any kind of action, no matter how direct they are, cannot bring the kind of result we want. Actions like sit in, teach in, pray in, wait in, will be meaningful only when they are born from our freedom, our compassion, our understanding. If you have the wisdom of non-discrimination, if you have the energy of understanding and compassion, and then these kind of action can bring about the result very quickly. Social change is only the outcome of the change of our consciousness. Then this is why this practice should be done right away in our family and in our community. In your community of Pure Land practice, organize to do it. to practice it in your family, in a community. In your church, Baptist or not, you practice the same kind of practice, getting in touch with the kingdom every day, several times a day, learning how to handle the suffering, individual and collective, for transformation and healing. These are the basic practice. And if you succeed in transforming yourself, your community, and then the social change will come about very easily. And many people looking at you, looking at your way of life, see that you embody the practice of non-discrimination, of compassion. They can join you. And you have a lot of allies. Even if they don't belong to the same kind of culture. And this is the points that we have to discuss in our Dharma discussions.